Hey guys, how's it going? It's Janie over here at Janie Sweets, and in this episode I'm coming at you with a tutorial on how to make this super easy 3-tiered baby shower cake. So if you want to learn how I make this cake, keep on watching. So to begin, I have here a 12-inch cake that I have just iced and crumb coated and filled with just some pink buttercream, and I'm using that same pink buttercream to create a rosette design all over the cake. So to make a rosette design, you need a Wilton 1M tip, and then you're just going to create like an E on the cake. If you can see the motion that I am making with the piping bag, that is exactly what you need to be doing to get a rosette effect. There are videos showing you in depth how to make this. I will find them and link one for you guys in the description box below, so look out for that. So just go ahead and continue making your rosettes all over the bottom tier and then pop that into the refrigerator to set. While that's setting, I have here my 8-inch cake, and that's just a vanilla cake that I have crumb coated again with just white buttercream, and that buttercream that I am using is my Easy Meringue buttercream. If you want a recipe for that, I have a video showing you how I make it. I will link it for you guys again below, but any buttercream will do, just as long as it will hold up under the fondant. So to create the sharp edges, I'm just using 2 fondant smoothers, and I'm just going to pinch the fondant in between them and just kind of work quickly all around until I have reached the desired sharpness that I wanted on my cake. So once you have reached your desired level of sharpness, you can move on to the second part of the decoration. So now I'm using this Cake Boss quilting tool and I'm just going to lay it across the cake, and then using my fondant smoother, I'm just going to press on it, and it's going to give me that quilted pattern design, which is the same exact thing that I did with my breakfast at Tiffany's cake, if you remember that cake. So because the pattern was not pronounced enough for me, I'm just going to use a clay tool and make the indentations a little bit more harsh. So I'm just going to follow that same pattern and then just make it deeper. Once that's done, I'm going to use some water. You can also use gum glue, and then I'm going to glue on some edible pearls or dragées. I'm using just a soft pink color. I'm not going to put it in every intersection or every crisscross. I'm just going to kind of lay it across the cake haphazardly until I am happy with how it looks. Once that's done, I'm going to put that aside and then move on with my top tier, and this is just a 6-inch tier that I have crumb coated with the same buttercream, and then I am using a purple fondant to lay across from it, and using my hands I'm going to smooth it out the best that I can. Now this trick, I found this on Pinterest a while back. What you do is you just take your cake, and it has to be borderline frozen, like it needs to be extremely cold, and you invert it onto a like a cake plate or even an acrylic disc, and then you just use your fondant smoothers to smooth out the sides, and then you invert it back, and you have a perfect flat top for your cake. So the cake has to be small, and it also has to be filled with just buttercream. Don't do it if it has a soft filling. It may fall apart on you. So moving on to the decorations, I'm just using some white I guess polka dots, and I'm going to glue them onto the sides of the cake, and again using a polka dot pattern. So 2, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, 1 in the middle, and then continue that pattern until you're happy with how your cake turns out. Now once that's done, it is time to assemble the entire thing. So I'm going to take out my bottom tier from the refrigerator, and then using some fat bubble tea straws, I am going to dowel the entire bottom so that my top tier does not collapse on me when I add it onto the cake. Now grabbing my top tier out of the refrigerator, I'm just going to set it on there and repeat the same process with the straws. And then I'm just going to put some water at the top. You can also use royal icing or gum glue, and this is just to stick the top tier on top of it so that it doesn't move around on you. So there goes my purple tier, and I am done with assembling the cake. Now I'm just going to grab some water, and again you can use gum glue, and I'm just going to run it at the bottom of my very top tier, and this is just to glue on a ribbon that I have made out of fondant. So here I am laying the ribbon. I think it's about 1/2 inch wide, and then I'm just going to cut off all the excess with a pair of scissors, and then I'm going to place a bow right in the middle where the seam meets. I'm going to find a bow tutorial for you guys on YouTube and link it for you guys in the description box if you're having trouble creating a bow, but otherwise just stick it on there with some gum glue or water and it'll adhere very nicely. So now, as you can tell, I am seeing the board and I did not like this, so I'm just going to use some leftover white buttercream with a just like a rounded or a pointy tip, and then I'm just going to make dots all over the entire middle tier, just so that my board does not show through. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of cornstarch on the top tier, and that's from rolling it out to make sure that it doesn't stick to my board. There's no worries. All you have to do is just spray the entire thing with water. I'm using an airbrush machine, but you can also use a spray bottle that has a fine mist and it'll do the same thing. Just continue spraying the water until it completely disappears and you can't see it anymore. Now, this baby mold, I found it on Amazon. I will link it for you guys below. All I'm doing is stuffing some flesh colored fondant in there, and then I'm going to pop it in the freezer to set for about 15 minutes and then pop the baby right out, and it should come out with no problem. Now, while it was in the freezer setting, I am going to work on my what is this thing called? Like the mat or the blanket that the baby's laying on. So I'm just going to roll out some pink fondant and then do the same embossing quilted pattern, lay my baby on it, and then just go ahead and remove the excess all on the side so that it is closer to the size of the baby. Once I am happy with the result, I am going to move my baby aside and then start working on the rest of the decorations. So all I'm going to do is cut up a triangle with some purple fondant, and that's going to create the diaper of the baby. So just like so, you just lay it across the baby's bottom and you have a diaper. I'm also going to create a flower just to put it on top of the baby's head. And then I have this Wilton, well, I don't think this is Wilton, but I will link for you guys below where I found this mold. I'm creating just a little teddy bear to put next to her, and all I did is cut out the letters "It's a Girl" and then placed it around the towel, and this is it, you guys. This is how I created this extremely easy 3-tiered baby shower cake. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family. If you click on this annotation right to your left, as always, it will take you to my last video. All of my socials are at Janie Sweets. I am on Instagram as well as on Facebook. Subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss out on any of my other videos. So that is it for this week's tutorial, guys. I love you. I'll talk to you next time.